Hello everyone. I'm Chandrika Jairam, founder the Evolved Room. Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered why it's hard to change even when you know something isn't good for you? Why do we stay in unhealthy relationships, stressful jobs, or habits that no longer serve us? The answer isn't you're weak or lacking willpower. It's because your brain is designed to keep you safe, not necessarily happy. In today's video, I'm going to explain you why your brain loves comfort zone even if that comfort is making you miserable. Let's understand the science behind the comfort zone. So, if you're ready to understand your mind and transform your lives, let's get started. Have you ever wondered why it's so difficult to make a positive change in your life? Why do we stay in jobs we dislike, remain in unhealthy relationships, or keep postponing our dreams? The answer lies in understanding your brain. Your brain has one primary responsibility: survival. Its job isn't to make you successful, happy, or confident. It's to keep you safe. Thousands of years ago, anything unfamiliar could be dangerous. Although the world has changed, your brain still carries that ancient programming. So when you decide to start a business, change career, speak on stage, or heal from past trauma, your brain reacts with fear. It whispers, "We have never done this before. What if something goes wrong? It might be dangerous." That's why your comfort zone feels so powerful. To your brain, safe doesn't mean happy, it means familiar. Even if your current situation makes you miserable, your brain prefers it because it knows how to survive there. But here's the good news: that fear isn't a sign that you're making the wrong decision. It's simply your brain trying to protect you from the unknown. Every time you take one small step outside your comfort zone, you are teaching your brain a new message: I am safe here too. And that's where real transformation begins. Your future changes the moment your brain learns that growth is safe. Now, here's one of the most powerful psychological truths: your brain often prefers known pain over unknown happiness. Think about it. Why do people stay in toxic relationships, stressful jobs, or unhealthy habits even when they know they are unhappy? It's not because they are weak or enjoy suffering. It's because the brain already knows how to survive those situations. Remember, your brain's job isn't to make you happy, it's to keep you safe. And to your brain, familiar feels safe, even when it is painful. Imagine someone who grew up being constantly criticized. As an adult, they may unknowingly choose partners who criticize them in the same way, not because they want to be hurt, but because their brain says, I've been here before, I know how to survive this. This is why our brains often confuse familiarity with safety. Now imagine meeting someone who truly respects and supports you. Ironically, that healthy relationship may feel uncomfortable at first, not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. And to your brain, uncertainty can feel like danger. But here's the good news: every time you choose a healthier habit, set a boundary, or take a step towards a better life, you're teaching your brain a new message. This is safe too. With repetition, your brain builds new neural pathways, and what once felt uncomfortable becomes natural. Remember, your future doesn't feel impossible because you can't achieve it. It only feels unfamiliar, and your brain can learn a new definition of safe. Now, here's something that surprises most people. When we hear the words comfort zone, we imagine peace, happiness, and relaxation. But that's not what the comfort zone really is. Your comfort zone isn't defined by comfort, it is defined by predictability. Think about that. Someone living with anxiety may feel anxious every single day. It doesn't feel good, but because they have experienced it for years, their brain begins to accept it as normal. The same happens with stress. Many people are constantly busy, constantly worried, constantly under pressure. After a while, they don't even realize they're stressed anymore because their brain has adapted to it. Even overthinking can become a habit. You may replay conversations in your mind, imagine worst case scenarios, or constantly doubt yourself. It feels exhausting, yet your brain keeps repeating it because it's familiar. So, why does this happen? The answer lies in something called neuroplasticity, your brain's incredible ability to learn and adapt. Every time you think a thought, feel an emotion, or repeat a behavior, your brain strengthens neural pathways associated with it. Imagine walking through a grassy field. The first time you walk across it, there's no visible path. But if you can walk the exact same route every single day, eventually a clear trail appears. Your brain works the same way. Every repeated thought creates a stronger pathway. Every repeated habit becomes easier. Every repeated emotion becomes more automatic. That's why people become trapped in cycles of fear, stress, or self doubt. Not because they were meant to suffer, but because their brains have practiced those patterns thousands of times. Here's the exciting part: if repeated thoughts create old pathways, repeated positive actions can create new ones. Every time you choose courage over fear, every time you replace self doubt with self belief, every time you take one small step outside your old pattern, you're creating a brand new path in your brain. At first, it feels unfamiliar, but with consistency, that new path becomes stronger than the old one. And one day, confidence, peace, and growth stop feeling uncomfortable. They become your new normal. That's the power of neuroplasticity. Your brain is always changing. The question is, what are you teaching it every day? Now, let's talk about one of the most misunderstood chemicals in our brain, dopamine. Most people believe dopamine is the success chemical. They think it only gets released when we achieve big goals, earn more money, or accomplish something significant. But that's only part of the story. The truth is, dopamine is deeply connected to production and expectation. Your brain loves certainty. It constantly tries to predict what will happen next because prediction makes the whole world feel safe and manageable. That's why old habits, even unhealthy ones, can still trigger dopamine. Think about scrolling through social media. You pick up your phone without even thinking. You open Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. Your brain already knows what's coming. A new post, a funny video, a message, a notification. Every swipe creates anticipation. Maybe the next post will be even more interesting. That anticipation triggers dopamine, making you want to keep scrolling. Now, compare that with reading a book. You sit in front of a blank page, you don't know what to write, you don't know if it will be good, you don't know how long it will take. Your brain can't predict the outcome. And because there's uncertainty, your brain does not immediately find it rewarding. So naturally, it says, let's do something easier. And before you know it, you're back on your phone. This isn't because you're lazy, it's because your brain is choosing certainty over uncertainty. The good news is that this can change every time you choose to write one page instead of scrolling. Every time you repeat that choice, your brain starts building a new prediction. It begins to expect that writing to part of your daily routine. Over time, writing no longer feels difficult. It becomes familiar. And once it's familiar, your brain starts rewarding it too. That's how successful people build powerful habits. They don't wait for motivation, they repeat positive actions until the brain begins to accept them. Remember this, your brain isn't choosing what's best for your future. It's choosing what's most predictable today. So, if you want a different life, don't just chase bigger goals. Create better daily predictions. Because the habits you repeat today become the rewards your brain seeks tomorrow. Now, let's meet one of the most powerful parts of your brain, the amygdala. Think of the amygdala as your brain's internal alarm system. Its job is simple, protect you from danger. Whenever it senses something unfamiliar or potentially threatening, it immediately sounds the alarm. Thousands of years ago, this system kept our ancestors alive. If they heard a strange noise in the forest, the amygdala reacted instantly. It didn't wait to analyze the situation, it prepared the body to fight, run away, or freeze. This is known as the fight, flight, or freeze response. The problem is your amygdala doesn't always know the difference between physical danger and psychological discomfort. Today, you're probably not running away from wild animals, but when you decide to start a business, speak on stage, apply for a new job, or even heal from emotional trauma, your amygdala reacts in exactly the same way. Suddenly, your heart starts racing, your palms become sweaty, you begin doubting yourself. Negative thoughts flood your mind. What if I fail? What if people judge me? Maybe I'm not ready. Many people think these feelings are signs that they are making the worst decision, but they are not. They're simply signs that your brain has entered unfamiliar territory. Your amygdala is saying, I've never been here before. I don't know if it is safe. And because its mission is protection, it tries to pull you back into what's familiar. But here's the beautiful truth: fear is not proof that you're on the wrong path. Often, it's proof that you're stepping outside the boundaries of your comfort zone. Every successful entrepreneur, every confident public speaker, every athlete, every person who transformed their life has felt the same alarm. The difference is that they didn't let the alarm decide their future. They acknowledged it, took a deep breath, and moved forward anyway. Because every time you take action despite fear, you're teaching your amygdala something incredibly important. I'm safe here too. Over time, your brain realizes that speaking on stage isn't dangerous, starting a business isn't life threatening, healing isn't something to fear. And gradually, the alarm becomes quieter. So, the next time your heart races before doing something meaningful, don't assume it's the stop sign. Instead, see it for what it truly is: your brain trying to protect you while you're growing into a new version of yourself. Remember, fear is a signal, not a stop sign. Growth always begins just beyond your comfort zone. So far, we have learned about the amygdala, your brain's alarm system that tries to keep you safe. But here's the good news: your brain also has another incredible region called the prefrontal cortex. Think of it as the CEO of your brain. This is the part responsible for logic, reasoning, decision making, planning, and self control. It also where your vision, goals, dreams, and future possibilities live. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a big opportunity. Maybe it's starting your own business, applying for your dream job, speaking on stage, or finally making that lifestyle change you've been putting off. At that moment, two parts of your brain begin having a conversation. Your amygdala says, what if you fail? What if people laugh at you? Let's stay where it feels safe. But your prefrontal cortex responds differently. It says, yes, this feels uncomfortable, but this opportunity aligns with the future you want. Let's think logically and take the first step. This is why personal growth isn't about eliminating fear. It's about allowing your logical brain to lead, even when your emotional brain is making noise. The prefrontal cortex helps you pause before reacting. Instead of making decisions based on fear, it asks questions like, what evidence do I have? What is the worst that could realistically happen? What's one small action I can take today? This is where confidence is built. Not because fear disappears, but because wisdom becomes louder than fear. And here's something fascinating. The more you consciously make thoughtful decisions, practice self discipline, and take action towards your goals, the stronger your prefrontal cortex becomes. Just like a muscle, it grows with practice. Over time, it gains more influence over your behavior, while your fear response becomes less dominant. That's why successful people aren't fearless. They're simply better at letting their prefrontal cortex guide them instead of letting the amygdala control them. So, whenever fear shows up, remember this: you have two choices inside your brain. One voice is trying to protect your past, the other is trying to create your future. The question isn't whether fear will appear. The question is, which part of your brain will you choose to listen to? Because true growth begins the moment your vision becomes stronger than your fear. Now comes the most exciting part of everything we have discussed. Your brain is not fixed, it's adaptable. This incredible ability is called neuroplasticity. Your brain's power to rewire itself throughout your life. Every time you think a new thought, learn a new skill, or take a new action, your brain begins creating new neural pathways. At first, those pathways are weak, but every time you repeat that positive action, they become stronger. Eventually, that once felt difficult starts feeling natural. This means you're not trapped by your past. You're not defined by your old habits, your fears, or your limiting beliefs. With consistent practice, your brain begins to accept your new behaviors as normal. And one day, something amazing happens. The life that once felt uncomfortable becomes your new comfort zone. So never underestimate the power of one small action repeated every day, because every positive choice is rewiring your brain, and every new pathway is bringing you one step closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. So, if your brain is wired to choose safety over change, the question becomes, how do we teach the brain that growth is actually safe? The answer is surprisingly simple. Don't force massive change. Teach your brain through small, consistent experiences. Many people make the mistake of trying to transform their entire life overnight. They decide to wake up at 5 a.m., exercise for 2 hours, meditate for an hour, read a book every week, and completely change their lifestyle. It sounds impressive, but your brain, it's overwhelming. Remember, your brain doesn't like uncertainty. Instead, begin with tiny actions. Read just one page, meditate for 5 minutes, or go for 10-minute walk. Have one difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Take one small step toward your dream. Each time you complete one of these actions, your brain receives new evidence. It quietly says, I did it. Nothing bad happened. I survived. And then something powerful begins to happen. Your brain starts replacing fear with familiarity. The action that once felt uncomfortable slowly begins to feel normal. With every repetition, those new neural pathways become stronger. Eventually, your brain stops asking, is this dangerous? Instead, it begins saying, I have done this before. This is safe. That's when growth becomes automatic. Remember, transformation isn't built through one giant leap, it's built through hundreds of small decisions repeated consistently. So, don't underestimate the power of one tiny action today because every small step is teaching your brain a new message. Growth is safe. And once your brain believes that, the life you always dreamed of no longer feels impossible. It simply becomes your new normal. Before we go, I have something special for you. If you're ready to break free from old patterns, I would love to help. Book a free discovery call by just commenting below the video. Let's explore your first steps towards lasting transformation. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the Evolve Room. I'm Chandrika Jairam. Remember, your brain can change, your life can change. Keep evolving. Thank you.